Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Sleep Detective podcast, where good sleep, health, and longevity are inevitable. Now, before I get into this episode, I want to talk about one of my clients, Brad. So, he is 2 months into the program, and he just wrote that the last 3 nights have been great with no pills. So, definitely getting better. I've never been more motivated. Take away a man's sleep and you get his attention. Thanks again for all your help. And this is what he's writing to my awesome team member, Tina, who is his coach. So we are so excited about his progress, and he has made a lot of changes, especially to his diet, that have really made a huge difference in his sleep. Okay, so to get into today's topic, I want to talk about how to finally solve your sleep mystery. And I call it a mystery because if you are like I was when I wasn't sleeping, you had no idea why, right? You do the research, you try and do all the right things. Like I stopped eating chocolate in the afternoon. I made sure to exercise every day. I stopped watching TV before bed. I had a relaxing bedtime routine. Like I was doing everything I knew, meditation, supplements, all the things, and those things didn't work. And so when I would wake up in the middle of the night and be awake, it was just so maddening because I couldn't figure out why. And then when I would get a good night's sleep, I would try and think of everything I did that day and then recreate it the next day, and then I wouldn't sleep well. And so there was just never any rhyme or reason to it. So first of all, I want you to know that this is a mystery, but it can be solved. We just need the right clues. And I actually want to use the analogy of a puzzle to explain this because I love puzzles, all kinds of puzzles, crossword puzzles, Sudoku puzzles, and especially jigsaw puzzles. I even this year, like winter is the time that I do a lot of puzzles, and then I don't really do them the rest of the year. But when the nights are long and the days are short, that's what I like to do. And this year I finally bought an easel so that to save my neck and so that the puzzle can be, easier to see and at an angle. So it's a lot easier on my body and I am loving it. I also one of my favorite new kinds of puzzles is called Liberty Puzzles. I don't know if you've heard of these. It's a company that's based out of Boulder, Colorado, and they are wooden puzzles that are, um, I guess they're handmade, and so they are pretty expensive, but they are so fun. They have different pieces in the shapes of things. Like if you get a Christmas puzzle, then there are pieces that are shaped like a stocking and snowflakes and an elf, and so it's even more fun to put together than regular puzzles, I think. So, if we think about this analogy of a puzzle, then the puzzle pieces are the clues that I'm looking for. And so we get these clues from the lab testing and from assessments that I do when people first sign up for my program. So, I send them intake forms that's looking at their habits, at their diet, at how their genes might be affecting them, if there's possible mold toxicity or brain inflammation. Things that I'm not testing for directly at the beginning, I'm still assessing to get the big picture and to make sure that I don't miss any of the pieces of the puzzle. So, what's really important too is that we do the steps, we put together the puzzle in the right order. So if you think of when you do a regular jigsaw puzzle, usually we tend to do the easiest things first, right? Like I tend to separate the border, the end pieces, and then put that together. That's kind of the easiest way to start. And then, maybe you start seeing certain parts of the picture that don't look like the other parts. So it's easy to pick out those pieces. Like if there's a beautiful flower bush in it, for example, then picking out all the pieces that are that color that go with that bush and then putting those together. So we tend to go with kind of that low hanging fruit first, the easiest fruit first, and that gets us momentum and then start solving the puzzle around those pieces that we've already put together. Now, you don't have to go in that order. Other people might do it in different order. I don't know, actually. Um, but it's just going to be faster when you start doing the easiest things first and get some momentum and then build from there. And it's the same thing with getting to the bottom of sleep issues. So, for example, the first things I look at with clients before we even get their lab results back are looking at diet and really optimizing their diet. And, you know, this applies more to some people than others, but even, I mean, most of my clients are eating a quote healthy diet, right? They care about their health. They're not eating a bunch of processed foods and fast food and all of that. And but still there are some changes to make. They might need more protein or they might actually need more carbs. Like we help them find their ideal diet. And we also look at blood sugar. Blood sugar is so critical for sleep. And again, not everyone necessarily needs this support, but more people than you would think. Because even if you're a healthy weight and you're eating healthy, you might still have blood sugar issues. So this is something that we want to look at and either address or rule out. So again, it's another piece of the puzzle, but it's one that we can get started on right away. And then, of course, we're looking at habits and lifestyle and those things that might help with sleep as well. So those things are the low hanging fruit. Like, what changes can we make right away while we're waiting for those test results? And then once we get the test results, that's when we get the rest of the clues as to, or the rest of the pieces of the puzzle as to what is affecting their sleep. And then that's also, we start working on the mental part of not sleeping. So this is different for everyone, depending on, if they've done cognitive behavioral therapy or not, if they have a lot of stress in their lives or not. But most of our clients need some sort of support with dealing with anxiety about sleep, dealing with their negative thoughts around sleep, at least at a minimum to start with. So that is kind of what comes next. And the process I use too is, once we get those lab results back and we start addressing the imbalances in the body, which I will explain in a minute as well, there's also an order to that. So I always work on building the body up first. So that means like supporting gut health, supporting nutrient deficiencies that might be there, supporting, and minerals are one of those before we actually get rid of things like dealing with pathogens in the gut or dealing with heavy metals and other toxins. So we always want to build the body up first so that it's in a stronger place for when you start getting rid of things, because that does cause some stress on the body. Now, as far as a puzzle, there is a different combination of pieces for everyone. So I make sure that we're looking at the big picture and all the pieces that could possibly be there, but everyone's puzzle is a little different. Now, there are some pieces that everyone has. For example, all of my clients have an unhealthy gut to some extent. Now, some are definitely worse than others, but I've never seen a GI map, the test I run for gut health, come back completely ideal for any of my clients. And, that's because by the time you have a symptom such as not sleeping, there's no way your gut's healthy. Any kind of symptom, actually. So much of our immune system and our health is in our gut that it is a critical piece. So for some people, I always say for some people, it's like a huge puzzle piece, a huge piece of that puzzle. And for others, it's not. Maybe it's only 10%, but there's always something to address there. Almost all of my clients need some sort of liver support. So I look at different types of liver detox and how they're working in the test. So I'm looking at methylation and sulfation and glucuronidation. You don't need to know the specifics of these. They're just all different types or phases or parts of phase 2 liver detox that happen. And so the test can show which one of those needs support. But pretty much all of our clients need some sort of liver support. Most people also need mineral support. So for most, I mean, actually everyone, I've never seen a test come back where someone's minerals are just all in balance right in the middle like they're supposed to be. So mineral balancing is a piece for everyone. And same with neurotransmitters for almost everyone. I've only seen like one or two tests come back where it's like, oh, all your neurotransmitters actually look great. For most of our clients, neurotransmitters are a huge piece of the puzzle. And there are definitely deficiencies in things like serotonin or GABA, and then some people have too many of it stimulating neurotransmitters like glutamate and histamine. So that's a big piece of the puzzle for almost everyone. Then there are other pieces that don't apply to everyone, but that they apply to some people. So that's going to be things like blood sugar, which I already talked about. That applies to a lot of our clients, but not everyone. Food sensitivities, mold toxicity. That's actually only probably a quarter of our clients are dealing with mold, but it's something that we don't want to overlook. Same with heavy metals. About half of my clients show heavy metals and the other half doesn't. Same with the mental part of not sleeping, which I've already briefly mentioned. So again, this is customized as to what people need. And so we help rewire the brain. If, people have negative thoughts about sleep, which pretty much everyone does who has trouble sleeping, we help with anxiety about sleep. We help give you ways to calm the nervous system so that you can get into a calm state and able to sleep. We help you manage stress in general. Some people don't have a lot of stress in their lives at this point, and others still are very busy and dealing with a lot of stress. So we need to address that. And some people have trauma that needs to be addressed too. And my team member, Tina, has a lot of experience helping people with that. So then what we do is we put all the pieces of the puzzle together, and remember, the pieces are a little bit different for everyone. There are some that everyone has, and then there are the others that we're picking and seeing that only some people have. So we get all the pieces necessary and put them together to complete the puzzle. And that's how we recommend the right diet, the right exercise, the right habits, and the right supplements for each client's body, because everyone's different and it's based on what's causing their sleep issues. So the key to this is to have all the pieces of your puzzle. That's how we solve this mystery, is get all the clues and don't miss anything. There's nothing worse than getting to the end of a puzzle and realizing there are one or five pieces missing. This happens when we go on beach trips and there are usually puzzles in the houses, and you're so excited to finally be done and then there are a couple pieces missing. So, it can be frustrating doing a jigsaw puzzle, but this can be the difference between getting better and not getting better when we're talking about sleep. Because if you are reacting to mold and we don't look into that, you're not going to get better. Same with heavy metals. So this is why I've picked the four tests that I've picked and use the assessments that I use to get this big picture so that we don't miss any of those pieces. And so that's usually what has been missing for my clients who have gone to other practitioners and tried the functional medicine route and haven't gotten better. Usually, what they're missing is looking at the big picture, making sure that we have all the pieces, and also helping with changing habits in the mental part. So, I very much believe that sleep is a body and mind problem, and that you're not totally going to get better unless you address both of those things. Because we can correct all the imbalances in the body, we can try. And if you're still super stressed in general or stressed about sleep, that's going to continue sabotaging your sleep. And if we address just the mental part, which like behavioral therapy does, for example, but you have a parasite or mold toxicity or heavy metals, then you aren't going to get better. So it's definitely important to be looking at both of those things. So I hope that this analogy of the puzzle helps explain, first of all, why things haven't worked yet. It's because you haven't gotten all the pieces of the puzzle together yet. But I hope that you realize now that it is inevitable that you can get better. This is a mystery that can absolutely be solved. We just have to make sure we're looking at all the pieces, at anything that could be affecting your sleep, and address those things and really restore your health so that then you can sleep normally. Because we are meant to sleep, 7 to 9 hours a night. We're meant to wake up rested. We're meant to have energy. We're meant to actually fulfill a purpose in our lives. And that's going to look different for everyone. It doesn't have to be, on this grand scale, but we're all here for a reason. I totally believe that. And we're not able to really, achieve that and fulfill our purpose if we aren't sleeping well, or it just makes it a lot harder. I know because I've been there. All right. So if this is something you are interested in finally figuring out, that is what we can help you with. So the Complete Sleep Solution program uses 4 lab tests, these assessments, again, to get the big picture of what's going on. But we also offer 6 months of support to help you restore your health, which takes some time, even though many of our clients start sleeping better long before 6 months is up. But we are there to support you, to walk you through it every step of the way. So you can book a consultation to find out more and get started at the link in the show notes. All right, everyone. Thank you for listening. I wish you a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays, and I will talk to you next week.